Please hurry! All right, just one more. We solved it! Shh! Be quiet! Now's our chance. They haven't noticed that we've opened the lock.
Then let's get a move on. Where are we?
Outside! We're outside! And we're still alive.
That's right. We were able to escape.
Where are they? Where did they go? Hurry up and find them, all of you!
Come on, we have to keep moving.
Over there! I see light!
I'd like to hear the Department of Health's opinion regarding stigma. Secretary Mendez?
I consider this case a very serious matter. It's unlike any plague mankind has ever known.
Could you please elaborate?
First off, stigma is a virulent disease created by man. Reports indicate that a contagious strain exists, which means it's a significant threat. In addition to that, there's an underground organization attempting to exploit the situation. So we must face the possibility that stigma is being circulated as a biological weapon. But in order to investigate, we need the cooperation of Homeland Security.
No need to worry about that. I've already notified the appropriate individuals.
Thank you, I appreciate it. However, I'm afraid we don't have much time to waste. There have been reports from around the world describing symptoms that suggest the presence of stigma. There's even been a major outbreak in one country.
You're talking about Kularuma, correct?
Yes. We've had one patient flown in for examination. We'll handle the treatment and subsequent analysis here in the U.S. Caduceus will be seeing to it. In case you weren't aware, Mr. Deputy Secretary, Caduceus is our country's finest.
There's no need to explain. I'm familiar with the organization.
I'm so glad that you're all back safely. You must have been so scared.
You have no idea. But we survived. With each other's help.
I'm sorry you had to endure such an ordeal. We must take stringent measures to strengthen our security immediately.
With no word since your disappearance, we had begun to fear the worst. How are you feeling? Were you harmed? It was a difficult situation, but we were determined to get through it. Having met our enemy face to face, my resolve to continue this mission has grown even stronger.
I wouldn't have objected if you had decided to resign, but I'm glad to hear you say that. We can't win the war against stigma without you three.
Something caught my attention while we were being held captive. It concerns Professor Wilkins. I think he may be a member of the Kidman family.
Goodness. Could that be true?
The professor? What do you mean, Marcus?
Well, you know that guy they referred to as the director? His face was hidden, but he was definitely the same height and had the same build as the professor. He also appeared to be the center of their research on stigma. If he is Professor Wilkins, then this would all make sense.
I have to disagree. The way he moved and spoke, I just don't think he could be Professor Wilkins.
I'm not positive, but it seems very likely. I just can't figure out how he got mixed up with them.
Regardless, I'll notify the FBI. Now, I understand that you're concerned, but I need you to continue with your mission.
The patient has been flown in by the military. We don't know how infectious the disease is, so use the quarantine transfer unit. According to preliminary examination, we're dealing with a new type of stigma, so we'll be relying heavily on your abilities. I know that's a lot to ask since you just returned, but I hope you're up for the challenge.
Well, at least we're not out of practice, having been forced to operate while we were held captive.
Oh my! Is that true?
Yes, believe it or not.
I'd like to say that you will have the very best working with you in the research lab, but unfortunately, we've lost a key staff member. We'll still do all that we can, though.
Did something happen?
Cynthia left. She quit while you were away.
Why would she do such a thing? She seemed so dedicated to her work.
Do you have any idea why she quit, Isabella?
As a representative of Humani, I'm not at liberty to say. But I'll tell you as a friend. She seems to have gone through a lot with the higher-ups concerning stigma. They blamed her for developing products that increase patients' susceptibility to stigma. But no one could have anticipated that side effect.
It's a shame to lose someone like her, but we can't dwell on it. Let's prepare for the operation, Val.
That's too bad. I had hoped to work with Cynthia until we eradicated stigma together.
Just so you're aware, I'll be present throughout the operation. I realize it may be difficult to perform such a procedure after your recent ordeal.
Don't worry, Kanae. We can handle it.
I'm glad to hear that. I can't tell you how relieved I was to learn that you three were safe.
I hear this is a new strain of stigma.
Yes, but the preliminary tests didn't tell us much. We did learn two things, though. First, it has multiple arms, which are causing all the damage. Second, we can prevent further damage by removing the grapplers from the ends of the arms.
Sounds like a complicated procedure.
It's affixed to the affected area, so we can't pull it off by force.
In that case, I think we should first try to restrict its movement and then excise it.
That's where this baby comes in.
What's that?
It's the result of our research. It will allow us to turn stigma's own characteristics against it. You see, we were able to extract a colurium-based fluid which will temporarily restrict its...
Basically, it can stop the pathogen's movement for a short period of time. Would you mind giving it a try?
No problem. It's good to be back. Now, let's get started.
Unfortunately, we don't know how to proceed until we've taken a closer look. But at least we have a second opinion today. Look, let's begin by opening him up.
Stigma is definitely present. It's bizarre looking, that's for sure.
It appears to have a core from which the arms are extending.
Let's try using that new stuff. We're supposed to inject it into the grapplers, correct?
Something's been released from the central core.
Toxin, I presume. If we ignore it, it'll enter the patient's body via the grapplers. Needless to say, it will be detrimental to the patient.
We have to find a way to stop the toxin from spreading.
I see. Doctor, it looks like you can only pinch each arm in one spot. We can extract it. That takes care of one of them. Two down, one to go. It's withdrawn its arms.
That's probably the result of a rapid contraction designed to stimulate regeneration. Perhaps this can be used to our advantage, since it places a great deal of stress on the core. If we repeat this process, we may be able to force the core to destroy itself.
All right, let's give it a shot.
Its arms are back out. Hurry up and remove the grapplers. It's working. Keep it up. It's extended its arms again. Keep going. The core's weakening.
levels are dropping. And so quickly, too.
It seems like the toxin is being used to regenerate the excised tissue.
So try to remove the grapplers while keeping the toxin from spreading. Please be more careful, Doctor. We beat it! That was incredible. We never gave up.
I forgot what it's like to have a real operating room.
I hope that's the last we see of that thing. Well, the operation was a success. Great work.
That was an admirable effort, considering the difficulty of the operation.
Yes, it was a tricky one, but somehow we managed.
I don't mean to press my luck, but I actually have another favor to ask of you three. This will be an extremely difficult task.
So it's no different than usual.
Don't worry. We're quite used to extremely difficult tasks by now.
We received a request for aid from the country of Kuluruma, where an outbreak's occurred. They desperately need doctors who know how to treat stigma. The government would like to provide assistance. That is, of course, if there are any doctors willing to volunteer.
And you want us to go?
If we can get some of our personnel into Kuluruma where that metal originates, then I believe we can advance our research on stigma. But to do so, we have to put 3 of our finest staff members in danger, not just of infection, but also of insurrection.
Kuluruma is a hotbed for guerrilla activity. It's a time bomb waiting to go off. What do you think, Val?
Well, ultimately, what's our purpose? I mean, is it worth risking our lives for?
If we're trying to convince ourselves, we could say it's to protect the world from stigma.
Elena, how do you feel about traveling south of the equator?
Well, it's better than going somewhere cold.
Glad to hear that. Then it's decided. We accept, Madame Director.
Allow me to introduce President Moreno, who has taken time out of his busy schedule to greet you.
Welcome. I thank you wholeheartedly for coming all this way to save our citizens.
It's an honor to meet you, Mr. President.
Nice to meet you, sir.
We hope that we can be of assistance.
You're much younger than I expected. But nevertheless, I'm sure you're quite skilled.
They seem a bit suspicious.
Stigma has claimed many victims, and now rumors are sending the populace into a panic. My people's suffering is my own. That is why I am so grateful to receive help from your country.
We'll do our best, as a sign of friendship between our countries.
I am counting on you. Commander, where are the doctors headed?
Sir, they'll be deployed to Arbel, sir.
I see. Our American friends may not be prepared for what is in store for them, but I am afraid we have no alternative. I'm counting on the 3 of you to care for the infected and determine the cause of the outbreak. In any event, there are some unruly elements in this country, so please be careful. Oh, I almost forgot. Commander, bring her in.
Yes, sir. Right away.
I am assigning you a special escort. You're our important guests, after all.
Come, Pepita.
Don't be afraid. She's a smart dog, she won't bite. In fact, she's very well trained. It's a custom in our country to give such dogs as special gifts. I hope you'll accept her.
Yes, thank you very much.
Nice to meet you, Pepita.
I intended to have a banquet prepared in your honor.
We're doctors, not diplomats, so there's no need for formalities. We're here to help the sick.
Yes, you're absolutely correct. We all have our work to attend to, including me. I wish you the best of luck with your assignment. Well then, good day.
The President is now leaving the premises.
President sure seems busy.
Yeah, he has his hands full between the gorillas and the economy. And add to that, stigma.
Nice to meet you, Dr. Vaughn, Dr. Blaylock, and Miss Salazar. And you are... Maria Estrada. I was born here, but I went to med school and did my residency in the U.S. I'll be acting as your interpreter. I'm thinking about practicing medicine here, actually.
Oh, yes, they did say something about an interpreter. Maria, are you feeling okay?
I think I may be coming down with something.
Look at her eye, Val. It's all red. Maria, did you get your immunization shots before returning here?
No, because I was born here, I didn't think I needed them.
As a doctor, you should know better. Val, she might have Vimase fever. If that's the case, she'll need immediate treatment.
That's endemic to this region, but she hasn't lived here in years. Elena, I need your help. We need to check her lungs.
Okay, I'll get everything ready. We're unfamiliar with Vimase fever.
Supposedly, it causes unusual tumors in the lungs. That's all I know.
Those must be the fever tumors mentioned in the examination reports. It appears that removing these tumors will greatly improve the patient's condition.
That gives us an idea of how to treat her, but aren't these readings strange?
You're right. These fluctuating numbers are a cause for concern. It seems like they're periodically rising and falling.
We can't just leave her like this.
There's no time to waste. Let's begin the operation immediately.
All right, let's get started.
Well, here we go. Let's all do our best. So these are the fever tumors.
At least we won't have to use the ultrasound to find them, like with normal tumors. That'll help save us some time.
We'll still have to be exceptionally cautious. Look at it. It's changing colors periodically. It's like a chameleon.
I believe that we can use the same procedure to remove these as with normal tumors. They are already exposed, so please begin by... What was that? It looked like some sort of gas. Now we can excise it. If it seems now that the tumor's been removed, the membrane's been affixed. Doctor, it's bleeding and has become inflamed.
Vitals are dropping?
For Dr.
Well, here we go. Let's all do our best. So these are the fever tumor.
At least we won't have to use the...
Not yet.
Please close up the patient.
Seeing a tumor change color like that was surprising to say the least.
But I'm glad there weren't any complications. Good work, team.
What are we gonna do with our interpreter bedridden?
Unfortunately, that's not the biggest problem here. You see, she's also a doctor. We could have taught her how to treat stigma. Someone will have to continue seeing patients after we're gone, right?
Well, we talked it over.
What did she say?
She insists on coming, even if it kills her.
Are you going to allow that, Marcus?
As a patient, I would advise her not to go. But as a doctor, I must respect her decision. She studied medicine to help the people of this country. And now is their greatest hour of need. If we carefully monitor her condition along the way, will that ease your fears, Val?
Yes, somewhat. But I completely understand her desire to help people.
Saftena pura esteno. Pufta inamika.
He works at the mine too. He says that one of his friends has also contracted stigma. Some victims were taken to the hospital. Many have already passed away. It's worse than I imagined.
So the mine he's talking about, is it nearby?
Efterashan Estino?
Tonpon buase.
He says it's about a 2-hour walk from here. We suspect that there's a relationship between the mine and stigma. I think that's a reasonable conclusion, but since so many of the villagers work at the mine, it'll be hard to prove it.
So this is where the mine workers live.
It's a poor village, but things have gotten better since the mine was built. However, the villagers only receive a tiny fraction of the profits.
Who owns the mine?
The government. But they sold the mining rights to an international corporation, so a lot of foreigners come and go. It's also been the target of guerrilla attacks.
What about the victims of stigma?
Epikahini Trui Andaya?
Ado hipko endansi.
He doesn't know the exact number, but there are more than a few.
Tell him to bring some of them to the Army's camp. We'll operate once we're through examining them. And also, tell them not to worry about the cost because the President is footing the bill.
Doctor, we're done setting up the operating tent.
Thank you, Commander. What's the status of each patient, Marcus?
There are 3 who need to be opened up immediately. Let's do one right after the other.
Pepita, it's your job to guard the tent, okay?
Maria, these are going to be intense operations. Will you be alright?
Yes. I'm feeling a little better now. Watch carefully, okay? This is a complicated procedure that you'll need to learn.
Not bad for a makeshift operating room.
I don't foresee any problems with operating here.
Let's begin the conference at once. The results of the examinations indicate that these 3 people require immediate surgery. Each of them has been infected with a different strain of stigma.
Hearing that stigma is spreading sends a chill down my spine.
This is a first. We'll have to perform 3 consecutive stigma operations. Do you remember how to deal with each strain, Doctor?
That's what we've got you for, Elena.
In that case, I'll do my best.
There's so much that I must learn in order to save my country and those suffering from disease. I can't miss a single detail.
This will be a race against time, so let's get started. Three stigma patients in a row. This is going to be a crash course in stigma treatment, Maria.
It's not going to be easy for us either, but we need to give it all we've got.
Okay, let's begin operating on the first patient. This strain of stigma is soma.
We begin by draining the cellular tissue around the main section, right?
The core is exposed. Use the laser on it. The laser is working. It's split up. patient has been treated. Let's move on to the next patient. We're going faster than we planned. Amazing! Move on to the second patient. The stigma is Brachion.
We'll need to extract the tissue at the tips of the arms. Get Robert's new serum ready.
If we crush the grapplers with the forceps, the toxins will be slowed. Extraction complete. The grapplers have grown back. Remove the tips. Let's extract them as many times as we need. The tissue at the tip has regenerated. Watch out for the toxin's movements. Disappeared. That's 2 operations completed successfully. Just 1 more to go. Incredible! We're working much more quickly than anticipated. The third type is Ops. This is our last patient.
Well, at least we don't have some idiot with a microphone shouting at us today. We'll be able to focus.
Confirming the presence of Ops. Use the laser on the core. Drain the discharged material.